it's still dark out, but I did sleep consistently, which surprised me. But it's pitch black outside because there's no lights or any cities or really anything around this train. According to my GPS, we're just over the Wisconsin border into North Dakota, so we did almost the entire state of Wisconsin last night. But the sun will be up in about 20 minutes. It's finally starting to come up, and it looks straight out of a horror movie. It's very, very foggy this morning. It's also very, very flat, foggy, and gray. But the weird thing is that it's just oddly peaceful just sitting here looking out. I know it's very odd to explain, and maybe it's just the vibrating of the train, but it's relaxing. Breakfast is here. I got French toast with strawberries, some orange juice, and some sausage. I elected to eat here in my room this morning. It's very, very presentable. I'm gonna eat this, do some work. We should have a rest break coming up here soon in about an hour or so. Alright, so we're at the first rest stop on the train. This is my chance to get up and stretch my legs. We're going to be here for about 10-15 minutes. This is North Dakota. It's still early, but at least it's not cold. I guess welcome to Minot, North Dakota to be exact. There's a coffee shop out that way, and there's a town just over that hill, but there's no way I could reach it. It has a population of around 50,000 according to Wikipedia, so it's one of the larger towns we've stopped at. But to give some context, this is close to the halfway point between Seattle and Chicago. We've covered a ton of distance so far. I don't have long to explore the station, and certainly do not want to get left by the train. The station seems very old, but seems to get the job done. There's not much in here. It is cool, they have like a little book exchange here that I think you can take a book and then leave a book. While the train is stopped though, I am going to do a quick walkthrough of it. I was going to do this last night, but I had my GoPro mounted to my bag, so every time the train moved, I would fly in a different direction. My bag would pull me. Each car is divided by these. You can push it, or if you don't want to, or have your hands full, you can kick out the bag. The sleeper cars that I'm in have coffee and water at the end, complimentary. Rooms are pretty close together, and you have kind of this narrow hall, but I didn't hear anything last night. This is the dining car. Obviously, this is where you eat, or where I ate last night. But like I said, you do have the choice of eating in your room if you have a room. I ate breakfast there this morning and dinner last night, which was in the first part. This is coach. You have a chair, but they do give you a ton of legroom, and the chairs do recline, so you could sleep in them if you wanted to. But since this train ride is 46 hours, I elected for a room. Not everyone's going to Seattle. The guy I was eating with last night was not going to Seattle, but he didn't tell me where he was going. This is the viewing car. They have these big, beautiful windows so you can take in all of the sights. But honestly, I love my room the most. Plus, I have work, so I like to work here in my room. The train should be leaving here any moment, and we will keep going. I got food in my room again. I got burgers and some chips. It's actually not that bad. It's definitely not winning any awards, but it gets the job done. We stopped for a moment, and this is actually the train coming from Seattle. It's like the opposite of us. So tonight's dinner, I went with the steak, and it smells absolutely amazing. Drinks for tonight, Stone IPA. I wanted a salad, but they didn't have any more, so I opted for the coconut shrimp instead, and it's okay. And for dessert, to top it all off, some blueberry cheesecake. This is Cut Bank Creek, and man, is it breathtaking here at sunset. I didn't think anything could overtake the sunset over the Mississippi River, but I think this does it. The golden skies, the golden plains, it's breathtaking. We're actually only about 30 miles from the Canadian border, which is crazy. It just goes on forever and ever and ever. It's beautiful. Alright, it's time for me to call it a day. This is Glacier National Park, but it's very hard to see. Tomorrow should be the best part of the trip and have some amazing views of Washington State. Good morning from Spokane, Washington. Sleep was pretty awful last night. We must have increased in elevation because my ears started popping and I just couldn't go back to sleep. Since we're in Spokane, the train is actually going to split into two. Half of the train is going to go to Seattle, then the other half is going to go to Portland. There's not much going on here. It's like 4 a.m., so most of Spokane's still asleep. The sun is finally up, and it's amazing going from that flat place to a place with all these hills. Today should be some of the best views of the trip, going through Washington State. Perfect sunrise, smooth water, amazing mountains. Can't ask for much more. So this part coming up is going through Mount Baker Squaquamie National Forests. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. I mentioned this in the first video, but I'll mention it again. This dirt is on the outside of the car. There's not much I can do with it. It seems like it's gotten worse too. Obviously, the train kicks up a lot of dust, and we went through kind of like a mini rainstorm, so it's gotten worse. Viewing all of this during the golden hour is just, it's something else. It makes it so much better. It's incredible. There's different sections of this, but the trees will come and kind of block the view, then it will kind of open back up, and then it kind of repeats itself. It makes for some really cool shots. The benefit of doing this by train is you just get views that you just cannot get anywhere else, and it makes for some really cool moments. For my final meal of the trip, I got some breakfast quesadillas, some potatoes, and then some salsa. And of course, orange juice for my drink. We're getting close to the coast now. The train is going to go through an actual tunnel and then follow the coast down to Seattle. This is the Cascade Tunnel, the longest railroad tunnel in the United States. We're in Edmonds now. We're going to follow this all the way down. We'll be in Seattle in about an hour. This is it. Welcome to Seattle King Street Station. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I have about a mile or so to walk to my hotel. I think I'm just going to relax. I'm absolutely exhausted. 46 hours. It's crazy. I'd do it all again if I could. It's absolutely amazing.